Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to mindforcombat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and it's my platform where I do fight sports related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, and maybe hit that bell icon to get notified every time I upload a video. With that said, in this video I'll be breaking down the upcoming lightweight world championship fight between the undefeated Dagestani Khabib Nurmagomedov, as he looks to cement his place as probably the greatest lightweight of all time and take out the former World Series of Fighting champion and the current UFC interim champion, Justin the High Life Gaethje. Sure, I started his surname. I don't know how I got Nurmagomedov, but I'm gonna say his. But anyways, this is a very, very important fight in the history of the lightweight division, and of course in the careers of both these gentlemen. Khabib Nurmagomedov looks to cement his place as the greatest lightweight of all time, and a win here will almost certainly do that. The only knock that you can really give to Khabib is the fact that he didn't fight Tony Ferguson, but that fight was scheduled 5 times. They both pulled out multiple times, and maybe that fight was just jinx and it weren't meant to happen. It's unfortunate really, and this is a very, very important fight. When you look at both of their resumes, they bring in a hell of a lot of experience coming into this fight, and it's one that I'm very, very excited for. The stylistic matchup that's proposed is very, very interesting, and I think that both of these men could realistically walk away with not just a win, but a dominant win. And it's crazy when you think that this fight doesn't necessarily have to be a 50-50 fight and both men can win it. Both men can win it, and it could be dominant either ways, and that's just a stylistic matchup that's proposed. Anyway, without further ado, and no more salivating over the fight, let's break it down. Khabib is still very young. He's still only 32 years old, which is his physical prime, and he's still got loads of time in the game if he wants to stick around. Of course, he doesn't necessarily want to stick around. I think he wants this and one more, he's going to retire. But he's still a young man. Justin Gaethje is also a young man. He's 31 years old, so they're both meeting in their physical primes. Khabib comes into the fight with a professional record of 28 wins and 0 losses, which is virtually unheard of at the top level of mixed martial arts, because there's so many ways to win, so many ways to lose as well. Someone will always pick up a loss on their way to the top. Justin Gaethje holds a professional record of 21 wins and 2 losses. These are two very experienced main event fighters. Experience should have no part to play in this. Khabib stands at 5'10" and Justin Gaethje at 5'11", so Justin Gaethje will be an inch taller than him, and they both have a 70-inch reach. But being that Justin Gaethje is a better striker than Khabib, in my opinion anyways, it'll be interesting to see how he utilises the fact that there is no size discrepancy in this one. To describe their styles, of course, is going to be pretty simple. For Khabib, he's going to be a pressure-heavy grappler. Yes, he can stand. Yes, he can hurt people. He's dropped Khabib. He's dropped Thiago Tavares with an elbow. He's a very dangerous fighter all round, but he's a grappler that likes to put your back on the cage, take you down, and maul you on the ground. Go for a submission if it presents itself, but otherwise he'll just beat you up with his fists. And Justin Gaethje likes to stand up. He's got wrestling credentials, an all-American wrestler, but he prefers to stand, uses wrestling in reverse, and hurt people on the feet. He carries big power, and he does about 1 million leg kicks, always low calf kicks these times, and he's going to be looking to land those low calf kicks, and that's going to be a very key part of this fight and how this fight plays out. The key wins. Now, Khabib has a very, very good resume, but the wins that stand out to me in particular are his most recent wins, or some of his most recent wins. Rafael dos Anjos is a great win. Then, of course, he's beating Conor McGregor to unofficially unify the title, and then he beat Dustin Poirier to unify the title again. So actually, it's funny that he's going to have almost unified the title on 3 different occasions if he wins this fight. For Justin Gaethje, the wins that stand out are his most recent also. Of course, he's beaten Donald Cerrone, which is a good win. He took out Tony Ferguson, which was absolutely mind-blowing. Edson Barboza, they've both got wins over Edson Barboza actually. He's done some good stuff in the World Series of Fighting. Of course, his losses to Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier were great learning experiences for him as well. The issue for Khabib is going to be A, his layoff coming into this fight, and B, and this is very important to me, is his mental game. Where is he going to be mentally after the loss of his father, which wasn't actually that long ago? Should he be in the ring yet, or should he be taking his time to mourn? I'm not sure, but hopefully Khabib comes into this fight in a correct mental space. And of course, on the feet, he's going to be very vulnerable to Justin Gaethje, who carries big power. And the issues for Justin Gaethje is going to be him dealing with the pressure of a 25-minute Khabib trying to take him down the whole time. We've seen Justin Gaethje slow down in fights with Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez, where he can become susceptible. Now, of course, those were very different fights, but Khabib is a very different type of fighter, and he's going to be pushing his back against the cage the whole time. Yes, it's okay to do that for a minute, 2 minutes, maybe even a round or two, but can you do that for 25 minutes? That's where the championship is made. The X factor for Khabib is going to be his wrestling and his pressure, and the X factor for Justin Gaethje is going to be his stand-up and his punching power. Let's get into the prediction. It's a very, very interesting fight, and it's one that's really hard to break down. I have a feeling that Khabib's going to come out early, and of course he's going to be looking for the takedowns. I think Justin Gaethje is going to have a lot of success early defending the takedowns, and he's going to have some success early hurting Khabib. Khabib has been proven to be very durable in a lot of ways, and we've seen him on defeat with Conor McGregor landing shots who weren't really able to hurt him. Dustin Poirier wasn't really able to hurt him. We've seen him on defeat, and he's done all right against guys like Ally Aquinta. Yes, I was struck by Ally Aquinta, who I actually respect as a boxer a hell of a lot. So we've seen that Khabib is actually durable on defeat. Justin Gaethje is probably going to defend the early takedowns. He's probably going to get his way into the center of the cage, and he's probably going to keep his back off the cage. On defeat, he's probably going to win those exchanges, and he'll probably even win a round or two. The problem isn't whether or not he can defend a takedown. It's more so to the point, can he defend 100 takedowns? The problem isn't can he win a round. The problem is, can he win 5 rounds? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is no, he can't. I don't think he can defend every single takedown Khabib's going to be throwing. I think eventually he will slow down. I think on defeat, Khabib's going to propose enough problems that he can survive, and with the mix of his takedown threat, Justin Gaethje might not be fully committed to his striking, which is going to impact the way he strikes. Sorry about the police sirens, South London. But that will impact the way he strikes, and as it impacts his strikes more and more, Khabib's going to start to utilise his wrestling more and more. It's going to become more and more effective, and we're going to start seeing Khabib pushing his back against the cage, taking him down, and start to beat him up. I don't think that Justin Gaethje is going to get stopped by Khabib. I don't think Khabib has the punching power to stop him. Yes, he generates big power in his punches. He may get a submission link, but I think after a rocky start to the fight, where Justin Gaethje has a lot of success early, we're going to see Khabib start to take over towards the end of round 2, where he will finally start getting the takedowns, finally start landing those punches, finally start hurting Justin Gaethje. With Khabib, it's not a matter of if you can defend a takedown. Most people can. Of course, at the highest level of mixed martial arts in the most stacked division in the history of the UFC, you can defend takedowns at the top. Can you defend 100 from Khabib Nurmagomedov? That's where the problem lies, and I don't think that Justin Gaethje will be able to. So fight fans, for my official prediction, I'm going with Khabib Nurmagomedov to survive an early rocky patch, cement his game, implement his game, win the fight, and cement his legacy. Fight fans, for my official prediction, I'm going with the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, to get the win and defend his title for a first time and go down as the greatest lightweight of all time. Anyways, guys, that's my opinion. Would love to know yours. Please comment below. Let me know how you see this fight going. Thank you for watching. As always, also remember, if you're new here, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. As always, I'm Rohan, and this is Mindful Combat. Thank you. Today, I'm going to be covering the sport of sumo. And I was very selective in the name of my channel when I done it. It's Mindful Combat because I'm a big fan of all combat sports, and the sport of sumo is one that's most certainly seen in this day and age as almost as a bit of a novelty, certainly in the Western side of the world. It isn't really given the true respect that it deserves, and I believe a lot of people don't feel like it is home or hosts any true level athletes. Just a couple of fat guys trying to push each other out for a ring, right? Well, it's not that simple. For me, especially, I mean, if you put two guys in a gladiatorial, or two competitors in a gladiatorial environment, face them off each other to determine who comes out on top, I'm likely going to enjoy that as a sport. I like BJJ, I like everything. But now when we're talking about sumo specifically, the sport of sumo wrestling is a legendary one, and it goes all the way back to almost 2,000 years. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are into like Japanese literature and anything like that, but the Nihon Shoki, which is actually the second oldest piece of literature to come out of Japan, references the sport of sumo dating back to 12 BC. So that is incredibly old. Not, I believe 23 BC actually. So it is incredibly old. We're talking a long time ago, almost 2,000 years now. And essentially it was originally started off by an emperor who had these two guys do battle, and the loser would obviously end up losing his life. As the years went on, it became almost a traditional dance, or between the years 1185 to get rains, so that they could pray for a good harvest, and then that's how they would pray to the gods and talk a little bit to the gods and hope for a good harvest to come off it. So it was very, very mystic in that sense. And in this day and age, coming all these years forward, sumo still exists as a very regimented way of life, and it has still got very historical and philosophical way of living your life as a sumo wrestler. So everything from your dress, the way you dress, to the way you live your life will be regimented. If you're a sumo wrestler, you have to live on the court with the other sumo wrestlers. You have to eat a certain way. You have to wear a certain clothing. You've got to live your life in a way that is befitting and is honourable in line with a sumo, particularly if you make it up in the ranks and you get recognized as a yokozuna. So that goes to show you just the kind of level and deep-rooted culture it has as a sport, and it's an absolutely incredible samurai type sport. And if you guys have never looked into the history of sumo wrestling and are interested in me giving you guys a quick brief overview of the history of sumo wrestling, I assure you I'm very happy to do that. So comment below if that's something you guys want to see. For this video in particular, keeping in line with my interesting character series in combat sports, I have gone with the legendary Hakuho Sho. Now, you guys probably definitely haven't heard of this guy, but with the rich historical roots that sumo wrestling has, we may be living in the generation of the greatest sumo wrestler to ever do it. That is not hyperbole, that is not an exaggeration. Hakuho Sho is absolutely sensational, and I know every generation has their great, but Hakuho is incredible.